think now is a great time to tell stories like this because people are so interested in the stories of real people, and these are real people who unfortunately aren't around to tell their stories anymore. So I think now is the perfect time.
There was something about the Playboy brand that had a little bit more of a mystique to it.
Be a Playmate, it's a ticket to the high life.
It was fantasy land. We were like rock stars.
What can you tease about what we are going to see with this project?
Well, the Playboy Murders is a 6-part series, and each part is about a different murder that somehow involves someone within the Playboy world, whether it was a Playmate or a bunny. All the stories are completely different. Many of them haven't been covered publicly at all. They were stories that I hadn't even heard of, and I thought I knew everything about Playboy history and what happened to all the Playmates, so I was really intrigued when I first heard about this idea.
I remember her saying that all that glitters isn't gold.
Not everybody is who they say they are.
When you pose nude, a lot of people seem to think it grants them some kind of ownership of you.
When you first started hearing of these stories, how did that hit you emotionally? At any point were you like, this could have been my life, this could have happened to me?
I feel very emotionally connected to these stories, and I think a lot of other people will too, because this kind of thing could really happen to anyone. You know, there's so many stories that happen within relationships or from stalkers and things like that. Stalkers who had like inappropriate access to people they shouldn't have had access to. And this kind of thing could really happen to anybody, and I think that's what makes these stories so compelling.
Only E.T. was behind the scenes in Las Vegas with former Playmate and The Girls Next Door star Holly Madison for the true crime series The Playboy Murders, premiering on ID and Discovery Plus January 23rd.
I love the way it looks. The lighting is so good.
So in addition to executive producing, you'll also be starring in it. What role will you be serving in the actual series?
I'm telling a lot of the backstory about the Playboy world and what was going on in the business at the time and what a lot of these women were doing when they worked for the company.
As someone who knows the
Yeah,
history
exactly.
very well. Wow.
A cross-border manhunt is underway tonight.
Now the first episode, your premiere episode, sounds very intense. What can fans expect right out of the gate with this project, with that episode 1?
Oh, there's one story in particular about a woman who is from Las Vegas, and that one was particularly compelling and touching to me because this was someone who was in the Playboy world right after I was. Like, I narrowly missed meeting her, and she had so many of the same hopes and dreams that I did. One of my close friends actually knew her because they used to go to the same pool parties and things, and hearing about the murder and what happened to her, which was so incredibly brutal and something that happened within, you know, what she felt was a loving relationship is just really horrifying.
No one who loved a human being would do this. She was beaten that bad. The killer thought that they had done everything they needed to do to conceal the death and or the identity of the person they killed, but they forgot one item.
She was identified by the serial number on her breast implants, which just goes to show how brutally he handled her.
You obviously knew Hugh Hefner very well. What would he make of these stories coming to light now in this project?
I mean, I think he'd want them to be told too. You know, these were real people, some of whom worked for him, and they deserve justice and they deserve to have their stories told.
What do you think it is about this billion-dollar brand that seems to be so heavily attached to danger and lead to dangerous outcomes like that?
Well, I think just a brand being in business for over 50 years and having so many people being involved with the brand, and also people perceive sexuality as a dangerous thing sometimes, and it can lead to a lot of blurred lines sometimes, unfortunately. But really, these stories are things that could happen to anybody. Like, you don't have to be a Playmate or a woman putting yourself out there, and I think these stories will be surprisingly relatable and compelling to so many people.
What would you say is the darkest thing that you experienced in your time associated with the brand?
I think for me it was just being in a relationship that was emotionally abusive and not being mature enough to really understand the dynamics of that. So for me it got pretty dark personally, which is quite different from a lot of the stories we're going to be exploring in this show. But in a way, you know, it makes me feel a kinship with these women as well.
I feel like things can be very dangerous with social media. Do you ever think about that with the Playmates now?
I think things can be so dangerous for anyone on social media. I always say, you know, as a mom, I don't show like my kids' faces anymore. And I always say to people, like, if that feels right to you, fine. But even if you're not in the public eye, like maybe create a private account, like be really careful about what you post. Try not to post things where you are in real time. I think even if you're not in the public eye or anything like that, everybody should be really careful.
For you, what is the why? Is it because it's not safe to have their image out there? Is there more to it as well?
Yeah, there's definitely more to it. Like, I don't like putting my kids' images out there, not only for their safety and their security, but also I just don't want the negative energy of like people commenting on different things or like their opinions weighing in. I don't like it that that affects my life at all, and I would like to just keep that out of their world, even if they're not aware of it. I just don't like that energy.
Do you still experience people having these preconceived notions? I know you mentioned it before, but do people still have these preconceived notions about your past and past association with the Playboy brand that affects you today?
Yeah, I mean, people still have all kinds of preconceived notions about me or my background or what I should be speaking about or what I shouldn't be speaking about, and that's why I do continue to talk about all these things. Is I kind of feel like I was put on this earth to show people that there's nuance to a story and that not everything is black and white. So that's what I like to keep talking about.
Does that affect your dating life at all? Like these preconceived notions, like how do you separate it?
I've been, before I've had periods of time where I've been single and it did affect my dating life. Like people had all kinds of preconceived notions, or they'd really want to date me, but they wouldn't want to be serious because of the whole Playboy thing. But I have a boyfriend now who's like super secure and like none of that stuff bothers him, and he just knows me for me, so I'm really lucky.
Would you say this is like your favorite chapter yet of life, being a mother, being in a relationship, like you, and now serving as an executive producer on this amazing project? I love seeing where life has taken you.
Thanks. No, I do feel like this is the best time in my life ever. The only thing I would wish for is just like more time, because you want all the time with your kids and you want to enjoy all your career things and your relationship time. So, but I'm blessed to be able to complain about that, I guess.
You are booked and busy this project, and of course now your memoir turning also into a project. I mean, this is gotta be really exciting for you.
It's a really exciting time, yeah.
Down the rabbit hole being turned into the television
Yeah.
mini-series. What can we expect there? Because turning a memoir into TV can be tricky sometimes.
I'm so excited about this project because I love the production team. I love the director they chose. Samara Weaving is going to be playing me, so I'm so excited. And it's taking a long time to happen, and they're always like, thank you for your patience, thank you. I'm like, no, because I want to be made it. I'd rather it be made right than be made quickly, for sure. And I'm so excited, and I love everything the director's put together, all her mood boards, and I'm so excited about it.
I'm so happy to see where life has taken you,
Thank
and
you.
it sounds like there's going to be a lot more good things to come.
Thanks.
And congratulations on
Thank you
this
so
series.
much.
And again, thanks for letting E.T. hang out with you.
Thank you.